Oh, yeah. That's bad. Are you guys going to use this after? Okay. Oh, you're counting me? Oh. 2 minutes? Oh. Can I go? Okay. Oh, is it? Good evening, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. At tonight's exhibition, we are going to give you a presentation of the Shark Tank project from our economics class. So the students were assigned, similar to the Shark Tank TV show, that they had to design their own product and their own company at a totally original idea to sell to the sharks being administration and staff here at school. So everything you're going to see here tonight is all of their own creations, their own displays. Making a prototype of the product was extra credit. It was an option. And you'll see this group tonight and the second group also took that opportunity. And they did a really excellent job. So we wanted to give you a preview of what we do in the class and how well they did. So here they are.
Good afternoon. My name is Dan Dubois. I'm managing director with a financial services company headquartered here in San Diego called Retirement Benefits Group. We are, according to Barron's Magazine, the fifth largest institutional advisors in the United States. We manage about $14 billion in assets. I've spent about 26 years in financial services, but from the time I was like 10 years old, I think I've always been relatively entrepreneurial, whether it was raking leaves or cutting the grass or shoveling driveway. So I applaud you guys for starting to think about what you want to do from an entrepreneurial standpoint and what the school is doing. So you're calling us sharks, but do not be afraid of the tank. We will be friendly.
Good afternoon. My name is Valerie Belloso, and I work for a nonprofit organization called Accion. Accion is actually a small business lender. And so I've worked for the organization for about 11 years now, working with countless entrepreneurs with amazing ideas that are either looking to launch, whether it be a prototype or your average mom and pop where you go to get your haircut or you get your favorite lunch or, everything in between. We really have a flexible program with a lot of resources to support entrepreneurs of any age looking to start or grow a business. So I'll definitely be one of the nicer sharks up here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your presentation. So thank you for having me out.
And I'm Robert Baser. I'm formerly the chairman of the board here at the school. But work-wise, I worked on Wall Street for 16 years and then started up my own small venture capital firm, mostly working in the biotech sector, but also in whatever comes along if it's interesting enough. And so I'm very interested to see what you guys have come up with.
Hello, entrepreneurs. My name is Jay Lasney. I'm a founder of a company called Push It Workflow Management. We are a CRM or workflow management similar to a Salesforce. And part of our mission is actually helping young people, women, minorities, or anyone without an opportunity use our technology to beat the competition. So I've had a varied paths ranging from internet startups with a dial-up service provider around AOL. If you guys probably don't even know who they are, but way back when, the financial services company providing Wall Street companies with data. Lost a bunch of money in real estate, and that's one of the reasons why I'm the tank, and now involved in the technology side. So certainly looking forward to hearing what you gentlemen have to share with us tonight.
All right. My name is Ryan Emmenegger. I'm Lucas Weed.
Morgan Kent.
And we're showing you our product, Rider Eye. So, motorcycles have blind spots like cars. And last year, about 4,000 riders were killed in accidents. And oftentimes this is because a car doesn't see a motorcycle, and then the motorcycle doesn't realize that this is happening because whether it's the cars behind them or something like that. Next slide. And so what we'd like to do is make the riding experience safer for the motorcyclist and the bicyclist, we realized. And so by doing that, we'd like to provide the highest quality product to ensure that they're safe, and to work with the riding community to make sure that what we're giving them is what they actually want. So our product is the Rider Eye. It has ultrasonic sensors that would be mounted on the back of the motorcycle or bicycle, and then a simple LED display that's put inside of the helmet, and they change colors based off of whether there's no vehicle, a vehicle that's getting near, or a vehicle that's really close, and evasive action needs to be taken immediately.
All right, so just briefly we'll go over the product cost. All of this stuff, all the parts in the active prototype can be purchased off of Amazon. Some of the items are in bulk, and the other items are individual. So here, the full version of it, the total cost is $30.53. And this is, again, ordering off of Amazon. And there are, in the future, we do have plans to get the parts directly from the provider without having to go through third-party, Amazon in this case. And so in future boards, we'd have them manufactured in China, per se, or in the United States on like a legitimate circuit board. And then from there, we can ship them out to the people. So manufacturing, the current team members in this group would be overseeing the production. I myself have the facility, I have a workshop in my house with all the equipment necessary to make these. We have 3D printing, 3D printer. I have an Ordbot Hadron used for 3D printing the just the industrial design and all the functional cases for it. And all the electronics are hand soldered together using, everything's quality checked, it's high quality stuff.
So we would sell this this product for $150, and this is a reasonable amount for a motorcyclist or bicyclist to pay, because helmets are ranging from $200 and up for a good quality helmet, as well as jackets. So this would give us about a $120 profit, and we could probably make about 4 of these products per week. And that would, if we sell all 4 of these per week, we would make $24,960.
Our main target consumers are pretty much people that just want to ride bicycles and be safe the entire time. What more do I say? Our main competition are other motorcycle companies and motorcycle helmet companies, and other people have similar ideas as what we're trying to make right now. We're trying to have the sensors on there. We're gonna have a lot of this right now. Actually. Can you take your mic? Please,
So yeah, other competition could include motorcycle companies that would be integrating this type of technology on their motorcycle from the get-go. But we could solve that by marketing this to the people that already have a motorcycle that doesn't have this with it.
So the total startup cost is about $800 for a second 3D printer. I already have one that we would be using, but again, you can't print. Printing takes time, and so in order to come up with volume, you need more printers. The other is $500 for various supplies, so this is enough stock if you order all the parts. Again, these are each $30, so that gives you enough stock to have an upfront amount of people buying and giving you enough money to then further purchase items for it. And about $100 for website and marketing towards it. So in Odo, we're asking for $15,000. The investors would receive 25% of the profit. 15? Didn't I say that? Oh, my bad. 1,500. The investor would receive 25% of the profit and would make it back after 50 products be sold.
So as we mentioned earlier, we have a prototype, so we can give you a demonstration. So the box there has has the electronics for the helmet side, and it has 3 different kind of areas of off, night version, so that's dim lights, and on, so lights are fully bright. And then over here we have the ultrasonic sensors, So as Ryan moves his hand in front, you can see that the LEDs change as they sense that there's an object within the range.
Originally, we were using green, red, and yellow LEDs. Unfortunately, during my prototyping phase, the yellow LEDs were burned out, and all I had on hand was RGB. So blue would be representing yellow in this case.
I have a question. Okay, so tell me how the sensors are mounted.
So currently, there is no particular order to the way they're mounted. This is purely for prototyping. When we originally had this project, we did not have enough time to put this on a motorcycle. It was just not realistic. So here, they're all compact. For the demonstration, you have 1, 2, and 3 representing the left side, right side, and center. And then on the helmet, it is like the same place that we'd have it on the final product.
Okay, so is it to be mounted on the seat or a back fender, or where is it to be mounted? And how is it to be mounted?
There are 3D printed mounts for these ultrasonic sensors, which are to be placed on the rear and sides of the motorcycle. Again, all this stuff we were not able to do it because we don't have one on hand. Although I did test fit it on my dad's Kawasaki, and it does fit nicely above the rear wheel under the seat.
Okay. Are we at the questions portion? Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Because my question wasn't about your demonstration necessarily. I'm curious, where would you be selling this? Like, how can people buy it?
So it could be sold online. We could set up an online store or work with Amazon, and we could market it through motorcycle bloggers who just make videos about them riding motorcycles, and sometimes they'll review a product, and so we could send it to them and get some publicity out there to let the riding community know that this is a thing.
Yeah, actually answered my second question, which was in regards to your marketing, because I saw that you only listed, was it $100 for
Yeah,
your marketing and your website, which seemed a bit low.
Yeah, that was a little low. We aren't marketing experts, so we didn't quite know how much to set aside for that.
Okay, so definitely lower than what you would want to really be able to get. Any new business, you want to make sure that there's good exposure, especially if it's a new product, right? So that would be my point of feedback in regards to that budget line. I think it's a little bit low. And my last question, just in regards to that, was what type of research? I mean, I think it's intuitive to think motorcyclists want to be safe, right? But what type of research did you do in regards to this product in particular being the solution and there being a demand for having this integrated into a helmet?
So a few years ago, there was a similar product that was going to be a lot more high-tech. It was going to have a full heads-up display and all this stuff. And there was a bunch of interest from the riding community. And then something with the company went wrong and they went under. They didn't quite say why that happened, but it did. So there was definitely demonstrated a few years ago interest in having a helmet display that did this.
Thank you.
I think you said that your current manufacturing capacity is 4 units per week. Is that correct?
As high school students, yes.
Okay. So, internet today, actually, you may not recall, because I think it was probably 7 years ago, but they showed a couple of young entrepreneurs that were launching a new website, and they were all excited. And once they pressed like the enter button to go live, they saw a click, an order came in, and all of a sudden click. So, if you're thinking marketing through the internet, have you thought through how, if the demand comes in, how you can outsource manufacturing so that you go from 4 to 40 to 400 to 4,000 a week?
Sure. So currently the products would be manufactured locally, but as I mentioned, we are looking to outsource it. to manufacturers who can assemble all the components onto a PCB in a much shorter amount of time and a much higher capacity. But first, to do that, you need to have a certain back order to get the number of PCBs produced. So you just test the water with the more homemade versions of it, and then once there is a actual interest in it, once people are starting to order it, then you would move into finalizing the outsourcing the product.
Got a couple questions for you. First, on the technical side, when there's nobody around you, is the intent that both LEDs are green?
Yes, that is the intent. There is a little bit of a problem with the sensors currently, and what I had programmed was the distances aren't proper, so that's the discrepancy.
So it needs some calibration.
Right. And
right.
the other issue is that the sensors are pointing in the same direction, so they're getting the signals from all three of them.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. So then, right now, as we look at it, and one of the LEDs is off, that normally wouldn't be this. There's no state where where one of them should be off. Is that correct? So you're always getting a visual cue as to what's going on.
Right.
That's correct. Is that correct? Okay. And then, how would you expect the motorcycle side of the device to interface to the motorcycle's power?
So in it, you just tap into the battery. There's also the key ignition, and all the schematics for the motorcycles are in the user manuals and product manuals you can find online.
So it's sort of a user self-install kind of thing?
Right, that's correct.
Right, with a quick connection, and there's no other connections required, correct?
You just need power. So the unit on the helmet has currently a 10-hour life on one charge, and then the other bit is connected just via the motorcycle main power.
Okay. And then, do you have the ability to be able to log the state of the sensors over time, sort of like a black box?
Yes, you can. They're easy to add SD card readers, and you could just write as the events happen to an SD card.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because the one thing I didn't see you talk about, which is sometimes the biggest cost for products like this, is insurance.
Yeah.
Right. So the first time somebody gets in an accident with something like this and tries to blame it on that they were relying on the sensor and it didn't notify them, the company could be involved in a lawsuit, right? So you're going to need some kind of insurance. And that can be extremely expensive for something like this, right? So that's why I asked about the logging, because if you can prove that you did warn the person, because you've got like kind of a time, every minute it logs what's going on or something like that, then, we know the accident happened at 12:07 or whatever, you have some kind of defense potentially, right? I think you'll need that in order to make the insurance reasonably priced. And that'll eat into your profit margin that you had calculated, potentially in a big way.
Robert took my question about liability away, so let me ask another one here. I'm still having a difficulty understanding what is the range that these sensors work at.
So those sensors go up to 4 meters.
So 12 feet.
Roughly.
Okay, and based on speed or what?
So the sensors use ultrasonic, so it's the speed of sound, and it's measuring the reflection back.
Okay, so this is designed for what, somebody on the sides of you then more? So
the rear is in traffic. A lot of times motorcycles get rear-ended because cars don't stop as fast as motorcycles do. And also they'll sometimes come into you from the side. So the ranges are reasonable for the most probable use of the system.
Do you have the ability to put audible sounds in?
Yes.
And is that in the prototype
So
now?
currently, again, when I made the prototype, I was not able to it, but there is code in it to have a piezo buzzer go off when they become really, really, really close.
Okay, so what is driving the power on it then? Is it going to be battery operated?
It's battery operated off the battery on the motorcycle and then the onboard battery on the helmet.
Okay, but on a bicycle, then it will be battery operated?
So on a bicycle, it'll be battery operated.
It'll be battery operated. Okay, and then the mechanics of everything then, as far as the computer and things like that, is on what? On the device itself, or is it in the helmet?
On a bicycle, the helmets that they have aren't acceptable of the full version. So you'd have that's just simple on the handlebar, which means it can all be handled by one microcontroller on the bike.
Okay, and what are you going to hear this with?
So
On a bicycle, I'm
on the
talking
bicycle, you're not going to hear it. You're more just looking to see it. Oh, here?
Adhere it. Yeah. How do you put it? How do you stick it on?
Oh, my bad. So zip ties and hose clamps, pretty much. They have bicycle mounts or GoPro mounts, which are use standard hardware, which everyone has access to.
Okay, and what has who's going to be taking care of marketing, and what's each of your roles?
So none of us super have marketing experience, so we would be looking for someone to work with. I know, like, we have a couple people who are at school that are classmates with us that already have a small-ish business, so they could talk to us about that. But if we were to talk about roles, I would say Ryan is the lead engineer mechanical guy. I'm a bit of the mechanic or a bit of the engineering and some of the big picture ideas and talking, I would say. Not quite the engineer. And
I like to think of myself as the humble employee.
You guys have definitely put a lot of thought into this, and it seems like I used to have a motorcycle, and I would not want to ride on the freeway because not because I was dangerous, but because other cars around you are dangerous, and they're constantly trying to cut you off. But have you thought, rather than trying to manufacture it on your own, have you researched? You said at one point there was a product like this out there. So I'm just wondering, rather than try to handle the whole product spectrum, why not just go for like a patent on the design and then license it to either Bell Helmets or to Honda, somebody that's already in the manufacturing, and then just Honda, when they sell a motorcycle, it becomes an option.
Yeah. So we were thinking about this. But for the purposes of the project, we had to market it as though we were going to do all of the manufacturing and all that. So we were thinking about that. And so Honda is starting to work on putting this on their motorcycle and just their motorcycle, but it wouldn't be integrated into the helmet or anything. And so this would be for the people that don't have a Honda motorcycle that doesn't have this already on there, and they'd like that extra stuff. So we did think about it, but didn't include it in the presentation because that wasn't a requirement for. Yeah.
I don't have another question. I just think that this is really well thought out. I mean, other than what I identified in terms of the marketing, the insurance liability, I think, is definitely a key one as well. Your margins look great. I think manufacturing is definitely an area to look at, because businesses go out of business really quickly when they can't keep up with demand. They can grow themselves out of business. So I think that's definitely something to maybe research in advance. I know your plan is we're going to kind of start it, and then if there's more demand, look into how we can manufacture. But I think it's good to have that game plan in advance, because that's the goal. Is you would hope that there's so much demand that you got to find a way to keep up with it, so you don't want to find yourself in that juxtaposition. So I think a little bit more research on that on the front end, and who those suppliers might be, as opposed to going through Amazon and paying a premium for those parts. Getting your costs down, I think, is all good to continue to work on. But you've already thought of it, and so I think this is really well done on my perspective.
I'm going to drive back to the bicycle because I think there's too much risk in it for me for that motorcycle. What can you get the cost down on a bicycle? And again, I would target parents or something like that.
So actually, you can get a lot of the cost down on a bicycle. The majority of the cost is in the battery, the lithium battery, and the charging and over discharge protection circuit for the LiPos. For a bicycle, you'd more use a sealed acid lead or a lead acid sealed battery, and for that, it's a very, very simple charging circuit, which is how you would get the cost down.
Okay, so what would the cost be then to outfit an entire bicycle with an audible sound if somebody gets within some range of you? And that being the 4 meters or whatever it is.
So we did calculate this once. It didn't end up making it in this presentation again because the main focus for the presentation was for motorcycles. but the cost would be around $15, $20 for the bicycle version.
So do you think a parent would spend $15 or say $30 or $45 on a device like this to protect their kids?
Personally, I would. There's no real price for safety, especially since it's a one-time purchase. A lot of other safety equipment for bicycles goes for a lot more, like good helmets and, reflectors are pretty basic but don't cost, but also good lights and vests and all that stuff. The cost adds up.
Because you're going to buy one for your kid?
I would. I'd make it.
All right, good answer. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Seeing as I don't know the domain, I actually had a friend, though, that had the same concept for bicycles, and I think it's a winning idea, is if somebody else will step up to the plate on the parts side, our company will contribute the website and a workflow management system to manage your inventory. You'll be able to sell online, and we will also provide the assistance with doing some marketing stuff, because that's our strong point. I think it's a good idea, and it's sellable, in particular if you target parents and get in even with the smaller independent bike shops. You've got all these places around, the cyclists and things like that. I'm not sure what the market is as far as your competitiveness goes. I'm kind of the opposite of these folks here. I like to go out and find the demand first of all, and then worry about the supply afterwards, rather than thinking through everything and spending all the time that. So again, different approaches, but I think we can complement each other.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, personally, I'd want to see the financials restated after taking a look at the insurance, because I think that could potentially cause a problem. You probably will need to have. It's probably not possible to buy incremental insurance. In other words, you sell one unit, you pay your insurer $25 and you're covered for that person, right? You probably need a lump sum up front to be able to purchase a policy, and it'll cover a certain number of units or something like that. So I'd actually want to see that before going to the next step.
I would agree with that. So, reworking of those numbers. And I think at the beginning of this, we're talking about investing. So obviously I come from a lender. And so lending and investing, lenders and investors look at, these type of opportunities a bit differently. So where lenders are going to be much more conservative. And from a lender's perspective, when it comes to a product, it's, there are very few lenders that will finance like a product like this in this initial stage. Accion is one of, I think, the few that would not necessarily finance the prototyping of it, but once you're ready to bring it to market, which is still very early stage, we are able to help with financing with that. And our loans are small; they start as low as $300. And so I think a business that really incorporates, I think, a lot of the feedback that we talked about here. If this is definitely something that you guys wanted to move forward with. You got some great feedback in regards to personally, being a motorcycle, driver and knowing some of those risks. I'm not one of those people, but I see the value in it and the preparation, and we would be happy to entertain a business like this.
Again, I want to applaud you. This is fantastic. That the engineering work that went into this, the thought behind the business. I would say that. As far as exploring investment opportunities, I would suggest that it would be appropriate for you to really research what other competitors are out there to this product and get a better handle on, well, how are they doing? Or you did mention at the outset that there was a product like this, but it didn't really work. So you really take that knowledge of why did that company fail, and try to incorporate that into how this could be a success. And I think that my interest would be more in, after you've got that data, trying to really protect this great idea through some type of design patent, where the real value here is the intellectual property, not in the manufacturing and the selling of it. So there's a lot of money that can be made by putting some barriers around your intellectual property. I mean, you probably saw that Apple sued Samsung for $500 million for patent infringement. So it's really the idea that can be as valuable, if not more valuable, than the whole manufacturing and sales process. So that's what I would encourage that you guys do. But hats off. This has been very impressive. Thank you.
Here.
Let me just make one more comment on the competition side here. Again, being a sales guy, I'm not necessarily so focused on what anybody else is doing as long as you're within reason. You do not have to be the lowest price product in the market. And if you try to be the lowest price, you'll probably be out of business. You need to find out what somebody's sweet spot is. Again, tug on their emotions, get yourself a nice crisp whiteboard video and a simple, easy selling proposition going. It's going to protect your child if somebody gets within this range of them, and you're going to avoid them falling off and breaking their neck or some body part. And keep it super simple and get every one of you that has a sibling selling that product to their parents.
We'll ask our next group to please come up and get your computer hooked up, please.
Hello. Our product is called College Crisis, or C Squared for short. Our product, that's the company, and our product is called Semester Survival Kit. My name's Courtney.
I'm Gabriel Sierra.
I'm Zoe Roman.
I'm Carla Lucero.
So I'm the CEO. The owner is Zoe. The chief information officer is Gabe, and the chief designer is Carla Lucero. And also our motto is our slogan is survive and thrive. How are you going to survive your college day, your average college day as a full-time college student? From classes to work, not to mention your social life, you are swamped. Luckily, we're here to help. This product will help you get through any crisis while you're out and about campus. Whether you forgot about that quiz in statistics, are hungry, or your phone is about to die, C Squared has got you covered with our exclusive C Squared Semester Survival Kit.
Okay, well, just to give you an idea of what's in the kit, there's Tic Tacs, Scantron pencils, protein bars, hand sanitizer, phone charger, headphones, earbuds, Coca-Cola pens, chapstick, Motrin, yeah. Gum, Band-Aids, sticky notes, highlighters, candy. All right. Well, with the name College Crisis, our target audience is we were thinking college students, but any student I think this product would be very helpful with. So we were looking around ages 18 to 24, but really anyone that's in need of a travel kit. Any gender doesn't matter, and doesn't matter social class.
So our company's purpose is is designed to make your college career easier, because like you're really busy during college, like from breakups to finals. You're always like you don't really need to worry about the small things in life. So we have it for you, and it's affordable small items that you can carry with you, and they're throughout your day. And with this product in your bag, you're free to accomplish your goals and reach your dreams.
So our competitor is going to be Polycampus Bookstores. Is our #1 competitor, since they are convenient distributors of student demand products, which is everything you probably see right here. Because I went to SDSU myself, which is a nice college here in San Diego, and they offer a lot of things such as what you see on this table. And our semester survival kit rivals their service by providing essentials in one bag, and it's not all clumped in. You have to buy them at separate times at separate prices. You can just buy it all at once and have it right there with you whenever you need it, and it can save you lots of time and money. It should save you time that you could be spent hiking across the campus to get to the bookstore twice, maybe 3 times even in one day, when you can be catching up with friends or finishing your papers for your classes. And money will be saved when you're buying these products in our kit compared to individual purchases of all the items separately, making more trips rather than being able to be more productive within that time.
Our selling platform is Etsy is like a far more transparent and secure platform that enables us to sell our product to the public. There is a 20-cent listing fee and a 33.5% transaction fee.
So this is our faxing cost. Office space and utility costs, it's going to be owner's residence and a garage. And product costs, due to bulking purchases of raw materials, we are able to reduce our expenses. The labor, the owner and officers of the semester survival kit will produce the product initially and add part-time employees as product demand increases. Advertising, most of the money would be spent on getting the word out, such as creating a website later on the road and getting it advertised on like small articles and newspapers. And also popular ads that we could probably see a lot of college students and even kids now in high school using Instagram, which is a popular social app, and along with flyers, booths at local university and college campuses. So like I said, you could use social media. This also includes Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts. And I don't see it on there, but possibly even Snapchat maybe. Sales price is going to be $35. The semester survival kit is an investment in your college success with 15 quality items, including earbuds, an iPhone compatible charger, and USB, which obviously at kids our age, we use those a lot, so we're going to be needing those. And we get these products in bulks, and it will cost. you guys have any questions at the moment, you can feel free to ask if you'd like.
Yeah, while you're waiting for this to boot back up, interesting. I have my cell phone in my pocket, and it just buzzed, and I took a look down to see who it was, and it was my daughter, who's a sophomore in college, and she's going through finals right now. So, as a parent, I understand this whole kid in crisis thing when they get to college, particularly around finals. So, my question: have you thought about, is this a product that you're targeting parents to buy for the kids, or the kids to buy for themselves?
Well, obviously, as kids are in college, they're obviously going to be learning a lot as they go through life from their parents. So they're going to learn how to survive on their own. But also, it's not just for the kids to say, oh, we have to spend our money on it. The parents can also, if they feel they want to help their daughter or son in college, and college is hard in everyday life, they can also feel free to buy their child the
Or it could also
product.
be a good college gift, for starting.
What the one other question I have as you're booting this up, the kit that it all comes in, which is this is brown. Are there different versions? Let's say for girls versus boys.
Yeah, we have multiple different versions, so this is the school one. We also have some that are for people that like to stay fit and active, such as hikes and going to the gym. Me, myself, I go to the gym every day when I can. And possibly in college, I'm going to be doing the same thing, so you're going to want to take gloves, possibly gloves compact in there, and your water bottle, earbuds, and other essentials that you would want to take to the gym, and hiking and biking and anything else that you would like, such as camping as well.
But our company would start out like this and would later move on to other things like food.
So not just physical activities, but also activities that include probably water sports and major other sports as well. Alright, so we're going to continue off before it crashed. So these products sold separately at your campus bookstores would cost over $60, believe it or not. And this is semester survival kit, saves you 58% when you buy it bundled from C Squared's. C Squared's gross profit is $20 per kit. And obviously that's a big steal when you'd rather if you went to the bookstore and you bought everything for $60. So our company's future, and in 10 years, we want it to be available to students at local Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS stores, and throughout the U.S. Because obviously some items in here are medical stuff, such as the, what was it that you had? Motrin, which is obviously empty, and then the Band-Aids as well. And then in 20 years, we want to have a diversity of abundance of more college-related products offered to our target audience. So Sharks, our proposal, we would like a capital investment of $700,000 in exchange for 25% of the net profit of sales for the first $10 million of net profit. Investing in us is investing in the future of the leaders in their college success, such as your daughter. And with your support, you will make money, all while bettering the lives of young adults. And thank you for your consideration. This is the time for questions.
Okay, great. Okay, so my first question, why are you asking for so large of an upfront investment? Like, how did you come up with that figure?
We just, my sister helped me with this, and she, we did the math and together stuff.
Okay. Do you think that, because I feel like this is a really neat product. Obviously, I went to college, and I have been in many of these situations where I had a headache, or I just needed a little boost of energy or whatever it might be, so I definitely see the value in it. And I also, since my background is working with small businesses, one of the points of feedback I like to give many of them is the concept of starting off small and growing. It's a lot easier to tweak your business. If you start off small and you see maybe something's not working, one color of the bag isn't selling as much as another color of the bag, or certain products in there aren't as popular as others or
Mhm.
whatever that might be. It's easier if you're smaller than if you start off larger. So that would be one point of feedback that I would give. The other question I have, so the $15 cost is just for the cost of all of everything that's on the table, basically.
No, it was
The-
it was 35. I forgot.
Well, your cost, not
Of-
what you'll sell it for, but what is your cost?
Are
I think you had it up on the slide.
I think you skipped it.
Can we go?
No, back a little bit.
Go back one. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, our cost was $15 from AliExpress. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
What is AliExpress? Is it Alibaba?
yeah.
Alibaba? Oh, okay. Okay. So, and then all of you would be the ones packaging it. Is that right?
Yeah, because that's what the project was. It was all about, like, us. And why it wasn't really that much of a reality in the project. It was just telling, like, just using all of us to work together to do it.
Yeah.
It's not really, like,
Okay.
yeah.
Great.
So when I went to college, I actually was given a kit that was similarly put together, not with any technology items because there was no technology then, but with many of the similar products, or at least the equivalent things that were available then. And as I recall, the way that worked was the box was sponsored by a company, and I can't remember who it was. I wish I could. Gillette. Yeah, that seems right. There you go. Because of that, right? And so I don't know if all the products in there were from the same company family or not, but it was something like that, right? So one thing you might want to consider is getting thinking about a company that would be interested in having college students as a lifelong customer, and having them maybe logo the pouch and contribute either the cost of the products or something like that, so that you make money without having to convince anybody to actually buy the product other than the sponsor of the product, right? So that's something that I would recommend thinking about. But if you can't find that, the way you're going about it does seem like the right way to do it. It's a sensible kit. And another thing you might want to think about is a refill subscription.
Yeah.
Right. So you can turn this into. It's great to make money from a single sale, but what really makes a company have a lot of value is annuity income, right? When you get recurring revenue from your customers over and over again, right? And if you made it real quick, you got a little app or something, they push a button, kind of like the Amazon product, where they have the Tide button, you put it on your washing machine, you push that, and 2 days later, Tide shows up at your door. Same basic idea with this. You get a refill of the products, right? I think about that. And then the last thing I wanted to say is just a comment on your evaluation. You said $700,000 for 25% up to 10 million. So I don't know what you were looking for after 10 million, but that means that the implied value of the company is $2.8 million, is north of $2.8 million right now, and that could be right. I need to see more information and look at projections and think about it, but that also could be high, right? So I think that was a good comment about starting out small and coming up with a way to reward an investor for being able to help you get a little bit of capital in the beginning and then call for more capital if you need it later on, rather than taking all the money up front, buying a ton of inventory, and if it doesn't work, you're stuck with a garage full of hand sanitizer.
We're done? All right, one comment. I think Robert's idea actually sold me on the product. I was going, how do you sell this thing? I think he's dead on the money that you get it sponsored. And the only other thing I would do is watch the presentation package again. Why does iPhone sell for so much money other than the quality of the product? And then the second thing is what's useful in there. Some things are useful to me and some things aren't. So I'd probably have a shopping cart that I can just select my items, 5 out of 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah. When we grow, we would probably make more different ones, and like, yeah, we would have different things, like, yeah, because like one of the things is a phone charger, for example. Like, if we don't have that exact like Samsung or iPod or like iPhone, we would make other ones for specifically for that phone, like as we go.
All right, thank you.
So unfortunately, with a live show, we have other challenges with a live show. We actually have exhibition starting in a few minutes, and we have parents itching to come in here and see some of the exhibition that's going on. I want to thank our Sharks very much for coming here today. The feedback that you guys gave our students was invaluable. I love the fact that we had a real-world opportunity here for the students to hear from experts in their field. Your guys' feedback was so much better than the feedback of our staff because you guys have experience in the industry, and so I really appreciate you guys coming here and being a part of this program, and encourage you guys to stay and watch the rest of the exhibition if you'd like to. Thank you. And thank you to all of our student presenters. Fantastic job.